Hey everyone, happy Black History Month. Thank you guys for tuning in. My name is Kyle. I'm the founder and CEO of Eighth & Furman. Eighth & Furman is a global management agency representing a curated group of diverse creatives. Our collaborative approach provides talent with strategic framework for brand development and content positioning that cultivates engaging and distinctive storytelling. As a Black founded and owned company, I think it's important to not only look back, but celebrate the present and invest in the future. Our team created the Creator Summit to ignite conversations amongst Black digital creatives. As a manager, my job is to lead, shape, and identify opportunities for the creator. As an agency founder, my job is to create, develop, and invest in the community. If we continue to share our knowledge, imagine what we can build as a collective. Really quick, I'd like to thank our featured guests, moderators, and team for collaborating on this initiative. During this summit, we aren't talking basics. There's so much on YouTube for you to get started in this business. Our goal is to share the pivot, the part that keeps you up at night when the content approach is not working, when you can't figure out how to dream from a new narrative or perspective. The truth is, we're evolving daily in this business. And if we don't share, we do a disservice to ourselves and the community as a whole. Coming up in session 1, Deveja shares his experience after going viral, how to continue to navigate the ever-changing landscape as a content creator. Please stay tuned. There he is.
Come on now. You know what time it is.
How you feeling?
Peaceful, amazing, grateful as always for another opportunity.
Yeah. Let's get into the action. I'm gonna give you a brief introduction because I feel like we need to let people know who you are. You know, let's say what the algorithm has made it very easy for people to go viral. It's almost like grabbing coffee at a bodega. The new challenge is, what do we do when all the eyes are looking directly at you? Deveja, known as D-Juice, is a Dallas-based content creator who I'm very proud of. When we met, he threw me the ball and gave me an opportunity to guide his brand into a well-oiled machine that it is today. His content is based in growth and universal possibility, that hard work and ambition can make dreams come true. Thank you for having me. Thank you for joining me. Listen, so I got to tell everybody that Deveja was like, Kyle, I think the best way for us to have this conversation is to talk together.
Facts.
And I am not a public speaker. He is the speaker, so the whole stress of me having to talk in front of people, I can do the one-on-ones, I can negotiate the hell out of a deal. But the idea of being on the camera, I'm like, Kyle, what are you doing? What's happening here? But thank you for giving your perspective. I appreciate that.
No problem at all. I see an opportunity for your growth in this instance. I was like, let me push him a little bit this time.
Thank you, bro. I appreciate that.
Come on now.
Yeah. Well, let's start. I think first, before we jump into how to navigate it, what to do, what makes the most sense, can you define viral for me in your words?
Ooh, okay. Viral, and I'll give a definition that I don't think is spoken about a lot. Viral, I just simply think is an influx of attention to where it's a moment that increases the influx of attention where it's outside of your demographic. I would even say viral is just it's a spark, not a flame.
Mm,
So viral is it was a spark that it popped. Let me use the word catalyst. Viral is just a catalyst. It's a moment, a very encapsulated moment that has the possibility to grow.
yeah,
If you know how to siphon the moment. So that's what viral is, just that influx of attention.
yeah, yeah. And I think, we had a brief, pre-call,
Mm.
and I knew you had gone viral several times because when I was introduced to you, it was based on, I guess, the viral moment that built up the Instagram.
Mhm.
But you gave me a breakdown of like that first time that you felt it.
Yeah,
So give me a piece of that, like the first viral moment, and then how we got to, I don't know what, maybe you had like what 120K when I met you on Instagram.
man. Before I went viral, I say my Instagram had about 9 to 10K. I was in that range, and if you remember this is back when Instagram you had to have 10,000 to link a product.
Right, right.
So that's when we was trying to get to 10 so you could link products. So I was doing my fashion thing. I was creating my concepts, putting on suits, back and forth, taking pictures every day. Then I was like, let me get on Twitter. I didn't have a big following on Twitter. Got on there and posted a compilation of the 4 suits that I had, like a red, green. It was just like, and I think the caption was, "Don't just wear a black suit to an occasion." And it
Yeah.
kind of, so I posted it about 10 o'clock at night, just like, let me post it. Let me just do it. I woke up and my phone was hot. I was like, okay, what's this? What's going on? It was and it was so much attention that it drained my phone. My iMac died because that's how many notifications it was getting.
Because
And
you had a what? You had an iPhone 2.
I had this was back in, I want to say I had like a 7 or 8
Okay.
or 8, and thing was the fact that I was getting so many notifications that it drained my battery. Twitter was like, "Do you want us to cut your notifications off?" That's how many I was getting. Like, we see you getting an influx of notifications. Do you want us to cut it off? And I was like, "Nah, because I'm enjoying this.
Yeah, yeah.
Nah,
It's
it's
good, good.
cool. It's cool."
Yeah.
That's when I realized, and then I was kind of sitting on it for a few, and it went viral. I want to say this picture went viral for 2 or 3 weeks. It was like, and I was on social media again, and then I learned about what a call to action was. I didn't know what that was.
Okay.
So my Twitter was just get doing numbers, and then I learned what a call to action was. And the guy, I can't remember exactly who he was. He was like, "You have to tell people what to do," and I was like, "Okay." So I just put on my bio. I said, "Follow my Instagram."
Yeah.
Let me tell them something to do. And as soon as they come to my page, they're curious. They go to my Instagram, like, "Oh, wait." So he has the extended version. He has all the different edits on this
Yeah.
page. So when they came to it was a easy transition. When they came there, they kind of stuck. They're like, "Oh wait, he does more than just pictures." So that's how it kind of started. Then I went viral on Twitter about 3 or 4 times before it really started to pick up on Instagram.
And then the Instagram moment. And listen, Twitter is a whole different game because I feel like back when I first started working in social, we were dealing with bloggers and we would play on Twitter, but the goal was just send people product. They
Right.
would then post it on their Instagram or their Twitter or put on the blog. But
Mhm.
the idea that we could go viral from an image, they could then start a whole new life on social
Yeah.
in the Instagram platform is amazing. So give me the breakdown of you do the call to action. They come to your page. They're there. Then what was the switch? Like, was there another moment where you went viral again? Did Chris Brown happen then? What was the moment?
So I didn't know how viral spread out through social media platforms. The where it's like, once it went viral on Twitter, they took the picture, they took the tweet and took a picture of it and put it on Instagram.
Yeah.
So that it kind of transferred over, and it was a direct correlation between Instagram and Twitter. And then once, I would say, after that was done, we moved on. We just doing our thing. I started back skating a lot, posting skate videos, and that started to get a little traction. And then Chris Brown came out with the song Tempo. Never forget. Never forget.
Yeah.
That was the song.
Yeah.
Um, I skated to it, and my homeboy recorded it, and I posted it. And then he called me about 4 days after that. He was like, "Hey, bro, Chris Brown posted it." "What you mean? He did what? Posted what?" "Oh, he
Yeah.
posted it on his page." "Shut up."
Wow.
So I go to Chris Brown page. I'm like, "That's me. Like, that's me right there." And the funny and the most amazing thing was, he didn't tag me, but so many people knew who I was and knew me for skating and knew me for this and that, that they was
Yeah.
like, "Hey, that's underscore BG, that's underscore, that's underscore." So I'm just getting this influx of attention to where the Chris Brown thing definitely sparked the skating movement. It
Okay.
definitely it pushed it in a direction I couldn't even fathom in my mind, honestly and truly. So that was crazy. I
Because
said,
I,
go ahead.
yeah, no, not to interrupt you, but I think that the skating was something that was so different for everybody
Yeah,
because we didn't know. I mean, again, like growing up, you go to skating rink, you know,
yeah,
your uncle was skating,
yeah,
you know, you always try to figure out how you could do it. We saw roll bounce,
yeah.
you know, like it was like Lil Bow Wow at the time, just like,
Oh,
how do you do that, right?
man.
Which is a full circle moment for you. We can talk about that later, but
Yeah,
we didn't understand that that was an opportunity or that skating was a real thing. So the idea that you pushed it to the forefront at that time, you know, through Chris Brown, who was the vessel,
yeah,
I think it really solidified your space
yeah.
because
Because
people wanted to know more.
yeah, and
So I guess that happens.
mm,
You know, you're not tagged. There's no direct connection. Let's say people come to your page. Then what was on the page that you were able to keep them there? How did you do that?
um, I've I've been solidified in who I am since I started, and that's a beautiful blessing that a lot of people. I did it on accident. I can't even take credit for what I was doing before I was being intentional with my presence in my brand. Before I even knew this was a brand, it was just me. So
Yeah.
I had my journaling on there. I had editorial shoots. That's all I did. I went out and shot editorial shoots. I did different poses. I'm jumping in the air, freezing in midair. So if you've seen the Drew Hill one, they made a Drew Hill meme of me on Twitter.
I
Well,
didn't see that. I didn't see that.
that's another one. Then it says if he doesn't do this when Drew Hill comes on, I don't want him. Like I
Oh, the like 4 steps, like this joint.
that's me.
Yeah.
So it was just me out here being creative and my creativity being received by other people. And
Yeah.
that's a beautiful blessing within it where it's like I can't even tell you that it was on purpose. It was like I was just doing what made me happy. It was initially I just wanted to create, do something different. And that's always been my thing. What can I do different that feeds me? The commonness gets me, it makes me yawn. It's like,
Yeah.
okay, now I get tired of it. Now I have to tweak it for me because I get tired of making the same thing, doing the same thing, eating the same thing. So I got this thing where I have to constantly change and tweak the things that I do. So it kind of stemmed from me just not being satisfied. Like,
Yeah.
okay, let's go be creative again. That goes viral. That let's go do something else because I'm tired of that. I don't want to do it again. Can't do that again. So yeah.
Right.
So when
And,
they came, they saw that.
and I think that you know, when I met you,
Mhm.
it was a process of you weeding in other moments.
Yeah.
It was, you know, the wake up, you know, the skincare, the grooming, but then you kept the consistency with the skating
Yeah.
because we knew they would always come back for it.
Yeah.
You know, and you know, I talk about it all the time, like content pillars, like check the box, make sure it makes sense.
Mhm.
But I think you do it without even knowing that you're doing it, which is why it's so special.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I think it's good. You mentioned like so we get them from the viral moment. We
Mhm.
diversify content in order for them to stay, or there's something exciting there that keeps them,
Mhm.
right?
Yep.
And I really feel like you have a 24 to 40 hour window.
Yeah, yeah. We can talk about timetables. Yeah. So with viralness, when I say it's strictly a moment, it's really strictly a moment, a second, a piece of time. But as that moment passes, social media is so quick.
Mm-hmm.
It's the next thing. It's the next thing. It's the next thing,
Mm-hmm.
and then we can transcend into the point where it's like I never became the moment. To where it's like I've seen so many people go viral and they just become what they went viral for.
Oh, that's good.
And I'm just like, that doesn't correlate because that doesn't keep you revolving. And it's the difference between momentum and acceleration. So the viral moment is momentum because it makes you move, but acceleration is constantly pushing it to go further. Do you want to
Yeah,
ride the momentum? Because the momentum will eventually stop. It has to stop at some point
that's
because
true.
nothing else is acting upon it. So, and I'm a big science person, so
Yeah,
energies is transferred by direct touch. So
yeah.
if I just sat in that moment and said, and I was content by saying, "Oh, I'm on Chris Brown page," that's it. I could have just been a Chris Brown guy. Oh, I got my suits posted. I went viral posting suits. I could have just been a suit
Oh,
guy and lived in that moment. But I saw something bigger where it's like, no, because that doesn't even totally encapsulate me. So the moment I never became any moment that I went viral for. It was always a seek of what's next, and that was just my constant like my my insides turn, man.
yeah,
it's just a
yeah.
constant. I need to be fed by creativity.
And I think it's something special about you loving it. Like
Yeah,
you love this game.
Yeah.
And that's what it is. This is a game. We are playing a game. We have no control.
Come on now.
We roll the dice every day we wake up, and it's
Come on
like,
now.
will it hit? Will it not? You know, I think it's another time we'll go into like the back end of how we dream, right? Because you're a great collaborator for me, because, and I say this all the time, like some people I can say, hey, I'm thinking pizza boxes and orange juice,
Right?
And you're like, okay, I'm driving down the street.
I got you.
Yeah, it's amazing.
I got you. Nothing. That's done. You get the okay. That's a buck. We can go crazy with that.
Right.
And also, you asked me about how did I keep them there. The trick that I'm gonna give a lot of people today is actually to engage. So when I went viral, I didn't just sit back and let people talk. I was like, oh, that's dope. Even I engaged in positive and negative. It really didn't bother me. But at some point, I made the connection where I didn't make this content and put my hands back like I'm separate from you guys. Because going viral, you have to understand it takes two things to happen. You have to make a moment and somebody else has to appreciate it, positive or negative. I'm not speaking on the ethos of how it's appreciated. Someone else has to appreciate it. So you have to give grace. If somebody appreciates it, say, hey, thank you for sharing. And for people that didn't know, on Instagram, the follow limit is 7,500. A lot of people don't know that. That's the number. You can't follow any more than that. I'm at 7,000, which means when I started going viral, I was following everybody because I wanted them to know that I'm a real person that appreciates it. Like, I'm not gonna be like, oh, I got all these followers and follow 10 people. That looks like a deterrent to me. It didn't feel welcoming, and that's not how I was raised. I'm like, if you show me love, I show it back.
Yeah.
So that's the secret to where it's like, oh, thank you for sharing, coming, going back and forth. Even if it's any kind of interaction, you know what I'm saying? So come on now. So that's the thing that people don't talk about, is actually that engagement, the initial engagement. Like when it go viral, be on your phone talking back. Oh, thank you. If somebody asks you something, answer it so people can see that you're a real person, for one, and they can make a connection with you with that engagement. That's what keeps people there.
Do you feel like that connection, like the real person, is what has expanded your brand to where you can now talk about your struggles, you can talk about your relationships,
right?
You have the ability to show people your successes, the cars, the apartments, you know, the personal speaking engagements, or, you know, there's so many moments in life that you've been able to share on social. And I think that people continue to uplift you because of how you started.
Yeah, and I've never sent a picture of perfection. I've always said it's blemishes in this image, and that's beautiful. To where I've always appreciated the imperfections of being human. Like, I've always welcomed the ups and downs, this beautiful roller coaster, the thrills that makes it make sense to me. Where it's like, okay, I'm gonna show you this moment, but I'm gonna show you what I learned from this moment. I'm not afraid to be out here technically naked in my imperfections. I'm not. That doesn't bother me.
Right.
But kind of that is where they are. So I can tell you my story and be like, hey, this didn't work, but this is what I learned, so you don't have to make this mistake, so it can work for you. So I didn't mind being a vessel of that.
And yeah, I think, listen, the vessel is the win, and because of that, we can clearly say is that you have separated yourself from, I would say, the large group of men's influencers. The success that you've had over a short period of time, it stands out. People can see it. The choice in brand partnerships that you choose, they're smart, they're thought through. Like, we're intentionally deciding what makes the most sense for your brand. And I think when we talk about intentionally thinking through details that make sense for you, the conversation of like tailoring a trend to your audience, you know, pops up in my brain. And you're so good with that, man, because, I mean, and I say you're so good all the time, but you're good at it because, you know, there were moments where you wanted to do yoga all day long.
Yeah.
I was like, I get it. We're in a Zen space, you know. Life feels good right now. Money is stacked. So, like, we're able to just live and love life and enjoy. But I said, but the yoga feels good, but I need you to lean into it, or I need you to give me something else.
Gotcha.
And you jumped on the fashion train, and we played around to get ready with me. But you flipped it on his head.
Yeah.
Give me why? Why not just do the normal jump into the pants? Listen, I'm saying a few things over here. You didn't know I was gonna do that.
We're doing that. Okay, if we're doing that, we're doing that. I believe it's partially from the community I was raised in, to where it's like we was always a little different. It was always, if you 60 degrees, I'm 59. To where it's like I always wanted my own temperature. where it's like I didn't dwell where the masses dwelled. It was like, okay, you doing this, I'm gonna flip it. And I'll give you a little story. When my hair was down to my shoulders and stuff, I wore Jolly Ranchers on the end of my hair. And it was like, why you do that? I didn't know why I did it, but I just wanted to do something different. I didn't care what it was. Did it make me feel good? And was it different? So when you said, oh, let's do this type of content, I have to make me. I'll give you a gem within that. Replicating yourself in different avenues shows mastery of self. I know what I look like doing to get rid of me. My get ready doesn't look like everybody else's. My journaling doesn't look like everybody else's, to where it's like I know how to replicate myself. Where do I live? I don't live where other people live. I know where I want to be. What does my house look like? It looks like me in house form. What does my car look like? It looks like me in car form. I know what I am, so I know how to replicate myself within things. So that's what I constantly do when it comes to my content. It's always gonna be me. Okay, how can I slow this down? Can I do it backwards? Can I reverse this? Because I'm a creative at heart. And for the people that don't know, this wasn't my goal to be here. My goal was to strictly be a photographer. My brother said, "Hey, bro, get in front of the camera," and that's the only reason I did. He was like, "Bro, you be clean, take pictures." He was like, "Take pictures of your wardrobe." And I didn't really care about it. It just made me feel good. So he pushed me to do that. But I fought him tooth and nail at every turn. Like, nah, I'm not a model. I'm not this. I'm not that. And that's why I'm so glad that God gave me grace and I didn't close doors that was open for me that I didn't see yet. Yay!
Listen, you're preaching over, ain't you?
Hey, I'm not trying to.
I'm trying to write down some notes while I'm also trying to make sure I look at my notes. Like,
come on, you know we gonna get real sticky. Come on.
I love this, and I think there was a moment where let's switch to get the day in the life.
Okay.
Because there've been several trends that you kind of flipped on his head. The day in the life, and you created this world of like waking up out of bed.
Yeah.
I don't know if anybody has said that out loud, but you created that, right? Just waking up out of bed, and you know, it's not this fancy like 18 pillows on the bed, like all white duvet. You know what I'm saying? It's like a real grown man, like living his life. We're just here.
See, and I wrote a word down when I knew you was gonna get to this point. I said relatable.
Oh, go ahead. Do your thing.
The word I wrote down that I knew you was gonna get to, I wrote relatable down. And that is what makes me grow, to where it's like someone feels like they can actually see themselves doing what I do. I'm not on private jets. I'm not getting things that you cannot, that's unobtainable.
Yeah.
I'm doing these things to say, if you put a little dedication within this, it's going to lead you somewhere. It might not lead you exactly where I am, but it will lead you somewhere where you get satisfied. That's the question. If it's a blessing to be given, are you satisfied with the results, no matter what it is, as long as does it satisfy you? So yeah, like I believe that connection is, oh, I'm relatable. Whereas my bed is not 1,000 sheet yet. I'm gonna get out here. I ain't gonna lie to you. The 1,000 thread count coming.
It feels different, don't it?
Come on. I'm trying to slumber. These are new words. But that's the thing where it's like I still go to the corner store in my old neighborhood I was raised in. Like I'm still grounded in relatability, where I still do common things. I don't just do rich things, which is I didn't put myself in that box because I still love the everyday traversing of going this way, doing this, going to see my grandmother, then stopping at the store, then they know me by name.
Yeah.
It's something about that. Like I just don't. I'm not stuck in the stigma of, oh, since I have money, I got to buy lobster and steak every day. That doesn't do anything. So I'm still have this mindset where it's like I can relate to anybody because I'm still where you are, just in a different location. I'm still here. I still understand because I've been where you are and I haven't forgot. So the word relatable means a lot to me.
To connect on relatability, I think in order for us to be relatable, you know, we live our daily lives and it's normal going to the store, you know, getting a glass of water.
Right.
But I think in order to create, we have to sometimes have inspiration.
Yep.
Where do you find your inspiration? Because before, a lot of it was museums. Yep. Like you would go through and look at photography.
Yep.
Where at this stage in your life, where do you find inspiration?
At this stage, it's kind of I'm gonna give my inspiration to the great divine. Like I actively don't go out looking for inspiration anymore. And maybe that's just because I've just conditioned my mind to do it subconsciously. But it's not something that I consciously go out and say, okay, this is this. But I guess with me journaling every day and me valuing every moment in my mind, it's kind of subconsciously I'm teaching myself to say, okay, this is this. It makes you feel this way. And to segue with that, the moment I got more in tune with my emotions, it actually helped me manage social media better. because I can say this I'm creating this, but it's not feeding me. So that I always want to be fed. I don't want to be in a restaurant sitting there smelling other people eat. Like I don't want to have the aromas of other people's plates. I want to eat as well. So I'm not going to fake it and facade it just to pretend. Like no, I want to be fed. And so what I create feeds me. What I do when you see me skating, you see me journaling, when you see me reading, when you see me doing all these things, these aesthetic things. I don't even put a word on it, but I guess it's aesthetic now. It's strictly feeding me because I need it to live. So see, it's a difference between creating and needing it to live. I need to do with it. I need to do this to live. Come on now. That's the difference. And that's what kind of keeps you in that vacuum of focus where it's like, I need this like I need oxygen. It just so happens money comes with it.
Yeah. 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 That's good. Okay. So with inspiration, if you find your inspiration within the great divine, right? For a creator who's getting started, let's say not getting started. Let's say a creator who has been around for, I don't know, 6, 7 years.
Okay.
They were part of that first wave.
Okay.
Like, oh, I'm the cool kid, right? Yeah. They are now looking to you and looking to your peers for inspiration because they're jumping on the trend.
Gotcha.
Do you suggest that they continue to look to the new? Do you know, or is there a moment of tapping into your community, to your audience, and figuring out what they want to see that's updated? What's your feeling of that? Listen, I'm throwing you a spin ball here, so let's see.
Do I hold my hand or do I fold? Do I bluff or what?
Come on.
That's kind of tough. That's kind of tough because I would say this. It goes back to like being able to emulate you and your content. So if something is new, you can take inspiration from it. Now, when I say inspiration, I did not say plagiarism. Plagiarism doesn't fail me. It fails the class. Like you will eventually get caught. Plagiarism is not. I think I told you one day. I said this is too much plagiarism, not enough innovation.
You did.
It's not enough innovation for me because that just kind of that creativity pushes me to be. So I would say I would challenge you to say find a trend, and your job is to make it you. That's your job. If you're creative, now it's the difference between a creative and a content person. Like those two are not the same people. This person needs a script to perform. This person makes the script to perform. This person is the script. So you have to find out what box you fit in, and it's okay to say, "I'm not that creative." Get around people that are. Don't burn yourself out trying to be something that you're not yet. And I think people are afraid of the "I'm not this yet." Like I've never been afraid to say, you know what, I'm headed there, but I'm not there yet, and that's fine if I'm on the destination. So if you want to say this trend is coming up, how can I do it my way? And you've seen this, like I won't post for a week while I'm thinking because I want to make it me. Give me time to make it myself. I don't mind making these decisions very meticulously. Like I don't mind. I'm not gonna make haste decisions when it comes to my content because I want to make sure it's always me because I never want to pretend with my audience. So we're not. True. So you be like, hey man, where you at? I'm thinking. Give me a second. I got something.
That's true because we'll have a discussion, and it happens like this, which is why I'm happy you're like Kyle. You and I talk about this. I'll call you. What's up? How your day been? You know, somehow I'll get through the offer. You know what I need from you. You know, the small conversation in between about family and life, and then I'll get around to, hey, so you've been quiet. Right. I need you to wake up over there. And you're like, no. I'm working. I'm just figuring out how do I make it make sense.
Yeah.
And every time you just posted. Well, I think maybe we share, insight into this new wave. Are we open to sharing, why you decided to do this different? It's almost like a vlog, man.
Quick, yeah. It's I took it from a movie. So when people say it's a new movie coming out and it comes on TV, they show you pieces of the beginning, the middle, and the end because it gets you enthused about seeing it. You ain't got to wait 2 hours to see that moment come up. It's tricking your mind to know that moment is somewhere within the video.
Right.
So I was like, I just don't want to be boring. So when I first start, you got 3 seconds to grab attention. Let me give you a beginning, middle, and end to grab your attention, let you know, hey, this is in there, but you got to find it. You got to stay here to see where it is. So it's almost like I know the human mind, so I know how to present it. And it was like, shit. When I did, I said, that's kind of cool. It's just then it goes back, then it starts over. It's just it's just playing with the emotion.
Numbers was crazy.
It's playing with the emotion, but it's also giving people what they want without them knowing what they need. Like, yeah, I'm just gonna give it to you how, like, and my lesson in this is let life teach you. Look outside of yourself and see what's successful in business, and you can implement it in your content. Like, I got that from a movie. That's what movies do. When they say a preview, it previews you the good parts of the movie. So you're like, oh, that look dope. I want to go see that. Now I'm invested 3 hours into it because I know these parts are in there. So let me just scale that down. If I give you doom, 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 it'll make you stay 50, 60 seconds because you know these pieces of energy, you got to find them. So that's a life lesson. I can't even say that's innovation. That's more like acute, just noticing a pattern. Like, okay, you know what? Let me do what movies do.
Yeah. How, with the success that you've had,
Yeah.
with going viral multiple times,
Uh-huh.
you know, being comfortable, being able to help your family, being able to just like support the community with the events that you do.
Yeah.
How do you check your ego?
Mm.
Because a lot of times, listen, we go viral once.
Uh-oh.
Every time it's like, oh,
Don't talk to me. Don't nobody talk to me. You talk to Huey, you talk to me.
that one exactly. You go viral that one time, they like, oh, I'm out of here.
Yeah,
And you're like, but you're not. It's the algorithm, baby.
it's okay.
But and it's about, listen, being prepared
Yeah.
for when they come, and then providing new content to diversify in order for them to stay, like you just said. But how do you check your ego, and how do you not let the numbers control your mind?
For one, the first thing is I love it. That's the first thing, and the second thing is I give others grace. When that little snippet I said earlier, where I said it's not about me.
Yeah.
I can only make the content. I can't share it a million times. So I've done my job. I stay grounded in the fact that I need others to do their job as well, be it good, bad, or indifferent. I don't care how you do it. Just like what Easy say, I don't care what they do with the CD, they already bought it. So talk bad, no, all press is good press, depending on how you want to look at it. So when it comes to my content, I tend to stay on the good side of viral. Now we can talk about it's two ways to go now. I haven't done the other way, so I can't speak on the negative side of viral.
But we don't want to touch that. Let's not touch it.
No need. So the positive side, if you want to keep this positive energy going, is just understand that it's a collaboration between you and everybody else that's seen it. And then the moment you supersede that process, you become egotistic, where it's like, oh, this is me. Yeah, you made the content, but somebody else had to appreciate it for it to do what it did. So I reverse engineer the whole sequence where you had to do what you had to do for me to receive it. So thank you. So I'm never disconnected between the moment. I'm the moment, but the receiver is a big moment too. Come on now.
Community. It's the community.
On now.
Yeah. And I think, listen, I'm happy. I'm happy because, you know, you push me to share. And I think you and I and several of the creators on the roster, we have conversations that I don't think we're talking about out loud. And because we're not speaking out loud, then there's a lack of understanding how to navigate this business.
Correct.
That's the base of it. This is a business that we are just having fun in for right now, right? And I think that the conversations we have are so valuable, and that's the reason why we create this platform, so that we continue to share and just give insight and a resource for people to grow and possibly adjust their business in order for it to grow. And listen, maybe one time surpass us.
Yeah.
You know, we won't always be, well, yeah, we will be.
You never know. Conversation where it's almost like money is the root of all evil, but money is not the root, it's an amplifier. So going viral is almost like money. It's going to amplify the person that you were anyway. So if you were a person that was egotistic and you were hiding it, then the going viral is going, you're gonna start talking your shit all of a sudden, because it's going to amplify who you were. So the reason I'm so community based, that's who I am. I care about people regardless of position. I care about the CEO and the janitor. It's just, that's a concise belief with me. It's a full circle moment. So as we kind of trim back to going viral, to give people something they can really take, and the antidote from it is, it's just like a restaurant. If they have good food and they don't have good atmosphere, you're going to always get the food to go. So let's frame the viral moment as food to go, right? So the way people are going to stay interested is if you have ambiance in your restaurant. So if you give them a place to enjoy your moment as well, they will love it. That's what makes the community. But if you don't make that, if you don't build the ambiance, they will get your food and go. That's it. That's it. They stay for the ambiance. So
What you talking about?
Come on now, my ambiance was me journaling. My ambiance was self-care, speaking about possibilities, like speaking about being imperfect. Everybody in the world is imperfect. Everybody has flaws. So if you lean into I have flaws and I'm traversing these things to get here, it makes you feel like I can do the same thing. That relatability, that word again, relatability. That's what keeps you relevant. It's like people like, oh no, I know him because he goes through, like I told you on one of my videos, my credit was bad. I fixed it. How many people have bad credit? How many people don't want to talk about it because they're ashamed? Oh, my relationship didn't work. How many people would shy away from that? I don't shy away from it because I'd rather be human than anything. You got me. I feel like I'm on live.
Yeah. Thank you for being vulnerable. Thank you for sharing. And I think that's the thread of your content in general. But I really appreciate that. And thank you for sharing your platform with us. Because you guys don't have to do that. And the love you guys have for me, I'm thankful.
Can I interject on that last part?
Of course.
You don't get to elevate without requirements. And in my case, just strictly for me, what I do now, how I share my content is necessary for my elevation. When I was talking to the Great Divine, I said, how do I proceed? They said, you must share this for you to go forward. So I become a vessel of creation. Like, okay, if someone sees my content and wants to emulate it, that's fine with me because I was supposed to make it to be emulated. For me to go forward, I don't get to where I am by replication of others. I get to where I am by expression of my creativity and letting other people, you can have it, it's fine. I don't have ownership of it. Once I post it, it's fine. Do what you got to do. But I have to do it for me to elevate personally. It's the requirement. So when you said I don't have to, I actually do. For me, I actually do. This becomes my life because I feed off the energy. I love it. You done got me started. You done got me.
Thank you. All right, guys, that's time. Thank you for joining, and I hope you enjoyed. Deveja, thank you again, man.
No, it's always peace, always love.
Easy. You guys stay tuned for session 2.
Yep.
We got some special coming up.
Come on now.
Talk to you soon.
Yep.